Ma. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my beautiful mother. We've got a super fun topic today. Cancer! We're obviously trying to make the best of it, and my mom feels pretty good, so we decided to make this video. I posted in the video where I was talking about my mom's diagnosis that she's decided on some alternative paths instead of going the traditional route. Just real quick before my mom gets into it, I have to say a disclaimer. I am in no way, shape, or form being sponsored by anybody. I am not promoting anything. I am not encouraging anybody to do anything. I am simply here to talk about my mom's experience, and that's it. So I don't want anybody to see this and think anything other than this is just her experience. So I just felt like very strongly that I had to say that.
First of all, I want to say, I guess it is an alternative treatment, but I didn't really have a choice. So I got my diagnosis that I had colon cancer after a colonoscopy. And I did have some bowel problems, and I had a sudden weight loss, and that's why I went to the doctor. The doctor suggested the colonoscopy. I got it. It came back with colon cancer. I was assigned an oncologist at Kaiser, and he said, I'll look at all the tests, but we can do radiation and chemo, shrink the tumor, we'll do surgery and more radiation and chemo after that. I said, okay, that's the protocol, that's what he was suggesting, fine. We did a CT scan then, and he saw that it metastasized to the liver, and he wanted to do a liver biopsy, but there was a PET scan also scheduled, so I was like, I don't want to do an invasive test like the liver biopsy before we do all the non-invasive tests. So they agreed, even though I was like on the table for the liver biopsy. They said, oh, okay. And it turned out that was a good thing to do. Liver biopsies can be dangerous. At any rate, I got the PET scan, and the PET scan revealed that there was cancer throughout my body and that radiation and chemo and surgery was not going to be an option for me at all. There was no option, and he said, there's no cure. No radiation, no surgery, no cure. He said, I can give you chemo if you want. It might give you 2 or 3 more years, but it would be for the rest of your life, and there's negative side effects. And of course, I know them from my friends with cancer. They're bald. They're incapacitated for at least a few days, if not a week, after the chemo treatment. And I was going to have to do that for the rest of my life. So it wasn't like chemo and then you're done and you're cured. It's just that's going to prolong your life, and chemo seems like a miserable life. So I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to just do chemo. That's not going to cure me. So really, I had no alternative. That was it. I said, well, how long do I have? And he said about a year. And I thought, yikes. A little bit young, would like to enjoy my grandchildren more, but I got to raise my kids and do so many things. So that wasn't a scary thing for me. In any case, my children were way more afraid than me. And they got right on it, investigating what people can do for cancer. And they were all about it. I was still working a lot, so I just kind of put it on the back burner and didn't think about it, especially I feel kind of healthy. And then my son, who really put a lot of effort into finding what people do who have cancer, found clinics in Tijuana, Mexico, and investigated them and found a clinic for me, made all the arrangements, got all my medical records transferred, took me to Tijuana, stayed with me the whole time, and I went to a clinic called Stella Maris in Tijuana, which was a small, very, very nice clinic. And these clinics are mostly for building up your immunity system. The opposite of what chemo does, which is destroy your cancer cells, but also destroys your immune system. Hey, I would have done it if he would have thought it would have cured me, but that wasn't an option for me. At the Tijuana clinic, Stella Maris, where I went, you'd show up at about 9 in the morning and get an IV, like 3 different IVs. And I have the list of ingredients, lots of vitamins. I got low-dose chemo in one of the IV packs for 5 days. I got a shot of mistletoe into my stomach. They also took out my blood and made an autologous, which means a vaccine from your own blood. So I had that also to take home with me when I left the clinic to inject into myself once a week. I have to say, I was feeling pretty good. after sitting there for 5 hours a day getting the immunity boost.
For 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks. And they also fed us green juice twice a day and carrot juice once a day and fed us our breakfast and our lunch. All the typical healthy diet that you would think of. Move away from animal products. They said you could have chicken or fish maybe once or twice a week. Could have a couple eggs, maybe 6 eggs a week, so have them 3 times. No white flour, no white sugar, no processed food, no cans, no microwaves. A basically clean, healthy diet. No sugar, especially cancer feeds off sugar, so carbs that turn to sugar, refined sugar, fruit, any of those, you limit the sugar, but especially processed refined sugar, don't touch it again. So that was the main clinic I went to. Also, I had heard from all the people that I was in the cancer clinic with, who were experts, by the way, because they were there for their second time because their cancer had come back, either after surgery, chemo, or whatever they did. And one of the women told me about this other clinic that we should go to called the Hoxie Clinic. And they also told me to watch this documentary, The Truth About Cancer, which I thought was really interesting. But the Hoxie Clinic was a one-day visit where they look at your medical records and prescribe an individualized tonic for you. So I did that, and I got that tonic too, which is a little more diet restrictions, some herbs and supplements that go with that. Anyway, I got sent home with my tonic, all the supplements, everything from both clinics, and that's what I've been trying to do here back in my home here in Cupertino. My goal is to live as much as I can in the present right now and to feel as good as I can now in the present.
And I think it's interesting to point out, too, had you started chemo when they suggested, you would have been feeling miserable until the end.
Even my oncologist at Kaiser said, when I said, well, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do chemo, he said, you'd be surprised how many people want to get that poison into themselves as quickly as possible.
He said poison?
He even used the word poison. Yeah. And he said to me, I can totally understand where you're coming from. If you have some living to do, I suggest you do it. And I'm so glad I didn't start being debilitated with chemo at that time. I've gotten to celebrate my daughter Shireen's birthday. I got to celebrate your birthday. I got to go on my book club trip to Michigan, still feeling good. So glad I didn't start it yet. And I still have some upcoming events that I'm still feeling pretty good for. Going to Columbia in August for Arash's wedding. I have a reunion trip with some college friends to Boulder, Colorado in September. So those are my trips that I still have planned, and I'm hoping I still feel good for. And that's why I'm doing these treatments. And also to be proactive.
Yeah. And you're still doing improv.
Taking my improv class. We're going to do a show on the 30th and still have a pretty much energy. I mean, I'm a high energy person anyway.
Yeah.
So even when my energy is depleted, I still have some extra. Thank you. But yeah, other than going to the bathroom 400 times a day, I'm still feeling pretty good.
Do you plan on going back to the clinic in Mexico?
Yeah, I think so. They recommend every 3 to 6 months. Oh, by the way, Stella Maris, it's not cheap. This is $4,500 a week. And we weren't staying there. That was for breakfast and lunch and the IV. And for my blood vaccine and the supplements. And supplements that I took home too. But that's pretty expensive. So I kind of want to make these videos. I was anxious to make them too. To tell people about these clinics in Tijuana, pretty close to California. And also, I've read since then that Germany, Israel, and Mexico apparently are the cutting edge countries for cancer treatment. Whereas I've heard in this country and in Australia that there's some active movements to prevent a natural treatment. I don't know. The Truth About Cancer had some interesting info. But I was going to say I want people to know about these other treatments. And also you can see. So if I live past a year, maybe the alternative treatments were effective. If I don't, you don't have to waste your money. So it's a good idea I'm making these videos. Yeah.
I think it's maybe worth pointing out, too, the reason that we chose Tijuana was, I guess you could say, sort of serendipitous.
Yes.
Because my brother was living in Tijuana with his now fiance, soon-to-be wife, who wasn't allowed access into America. So they were living in Tijuana, and my brother was crossing the border every day to San Diego to go to work and then coming home to his fiance. And in that time that he was there, which is very romantic, love has no borders, but in that time, he met, even before my mom's diagnosis, tons of people.
No, that day.
What was that day?
Arash told me that day. So Arash and Andrea were living in a flat and had a bedroom in a flat that was an Airbnb. So somebody moved into one of the other bedrooms and they're talking, and Arash says, why are you here? And she's here for the cancer clinic. She has cancer. She's here for the cancer clinic right near where their Airbnb was. That was the day I told him I got my cancer diagnosis. Somebody was
crazy.
there. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So Arash was just all about it. What's going on? What clinic? What are you talking about? That woman said, there's lots of clinics in Tijuana. So Arash and Andrea just started going to clinics and finding them and investigating. We would have never known there's anything in Tijuana.
Never.
So,
Tijuana has such a bad reputation, I feel like. And I certainly thought Tijuana, I only thought of Tijuana as a place where you go party when you're in San Diego and you're under 21 and you want to drink.
Tijuana is a fabulous, nice city with beautiful parks and a cultural center and great shopping centers, good restaurants. I mean, it's nothing like the sleazy place I was picturing from these guys partying in college.
Yeah.
I couldn't even find the sleazy place. Revolution Ave didn't look that sleazy to me. Plenty of sleazier places in San Francisco. Arash really took care of me. He was just on it. He paid and did the medical records and made sure I took my supplements and cooked for me and made sure we had an NBA playoff game to watch every single night we were there. Made sure we didn't miss any of the NBA playoffs. So we had a great time.
And your Precious Warriors won.
And the Precious Warriors won. So Tijuana was just fabulous.
Momsy, thank you for sharing your alternative cancer treatment. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. Maybe my mom will come on and answer some, or I'll do my best to answer them on her behalf. I really appreciate all the love and support that you guys have given me and my mom and my family. It means a lot to me. I know everybody is going through something, so I really wanted to have my mom on here to talk about everything that she's going through and share and just be really honest and open. So I know this is a little bit different than the kind of content I normally create on my channel, so I hope you guys are enjoying it. Because if you're not, bye. Okay, but really bye though now. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.